Hello, hi, I'm Eddie Obeng, and this is How. Daily, I bring you a different way to look at the world, a different way to tackle challenges, a different way to thrive. Today, I want to make your life a little more fuzzy. It's called Bullseye, and it's a way of trying to make sure that what you want and what you aim at is what you get, or even better. So let's get on to Cube and have a look. Oh, yeah. Today I've got a treat for you. I'm working somewhere different from normal. I'm working in the Ninja Dojo. If you've come across my colleague, Tammy Watchorn, you'll know that she has written this amazing book called The Change Ninja. In fact, it's a trilogy now. And this is the dojo where she does her teaching. And I've snuck in here because she's not here. And we're going to explore Bullseye because, as you know, all ninjas, they do shooting stars and arrows, and we're going to hit the bullseye. So this will have happened to you probably every once or twice a year or sometime in your life. Some senior person has stood up on the stage with graphs, telling you what's happening in the world, trying to explain to you what the goals and the objectives are for the organization and motivating you towards a goal. Now, in our current fast-changing world, complexity, uncertainty, how likely is it they've really understood their problem? How likely is it that the goal they're pointing at is actually the goal you should be trying to achieve? Look back at last year. Didn't surprises happen? Some of them were better than you thought. Some of them were worse than you thought. They look at the numbers, but the reality is the goals are too tight. Now, one of the people I really admire is a chap called Scott Adams. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Scott helped me when I was starting to think about Cube and what we should develop. And he wrote this amazing book called How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. And his argument was, we're quite mad to have goals because goals are so specific and the world is changing so fast that if you have a goal like, I want to lose 20 pounds, actually, it's better to just eat the right food. Just eat the right food. And amazingly, you'll lose 25 pounds. I want to run. No, just exercise daily. And then you'll discover you can run a 4-hour. Actually, 4-hour marathon is not bad. Okay, you can run a 4. And so the whole point is look at the systems and not the goals. But in corporate life, of course, it's quite hard to persuade people to do that. So I created Bullseye. And Bullseye is a way of trying to allow you to have fuzzy goals, goals which will work to your advantage, even though the world might not be working the way it is. There are sort of 4 sort of classic reasons why you would want this, because for a start, situations are really complex. It's hard to specify them. There's also the risk of pursuing a very clear goal. Because when people are trying to get to a specific goal, sometimes they end up focusing on the wrong things, as I mentioned before. And because you can leave money on the table if you're too specific. You might actually do something which isn't as good as it could be. So if you know my work, you'll know Aladdin, which is when you're thinking about customers. And it's the same idea that you might have a primary cluster of customers, a secondary cluster of customers, and maybe an incidental one. Well, with Bullseye, you do the same thing, but just with your goal. So what's the primary goal? What's the reason we're doing this? If you link it back to the PET 5 Ps, often you'll find that the primary goal is the purpose statement, if you've done that. But why are we doing this thing? What's the reason for putting this effort in? To support that, we may also need 2. That allows you to get fuzzy. And it would be really nice if we also got, and the things which are inappropriate, because you want to boundary it and limit it to say, don't go here, but this sort of space is okay. So in the example I put together for you, it's really simple. It's to do with Cube. We need to generate profits so we can scope and scale Cube. So it really helps if I just go and do another of my amazing keynotes, even if I say so myself. And we sell off some of the books and some of the pets and things like that so that we can get some revenue, so we can do this growth bit here. And incidentally, if we find people who want to apply it, learn it, that would be really great. But what we really want to avoid is wasting time on other stuff. So that's the way you would use a Bullseye. So go back to your weekly plan, your daily plan, your annual goals, your tasks, reorient them using your Bullseye, and wait for luck and serendipity to make your life fantastic. As you aim for what you don't really know, you will hit what's better than what you thought you were going to get. Have a fantastic day. Oh, quick guide. As you know, cube.cc/pets/ It'll be Bullseye -I, okay? And subscribe to the newsletter. Bye.